Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from northern Maine. Thanks a lot for joining me here today. Today, I want to touch on the 2 square miles again and the trails. There was something I kind of left out there, so I kind of want to back up just a little bit. When you're cutting them trails in, look for blowdowns, stuff like that, big areas that have blown in, brush piles, stuff like that. And swing your trails around there as close as you can. And the reason for that is deers love blowdowns. They like brush piles. They like to stop behind a blowdown. They like to, stop in a blowdown or a brush pile or whatever. So if you cut these trails through these areas, number one, it puts you in a really good spot for deer hunting. But these deer, you watch, you cut a trail down through the woods, and these deer, come wintertime, they will start using your trails. Every single trail that I have ever put in, I have changed the pattern of the deer. I especially if you're in an area of old chop-ins or lots of blowdown, stuff like that. These deer, they're not stupid. They see a path. Number one, I think they're just plain curious, because I do a lot of stuff out in the woods, and I think deer are curious and they like to check out what's in their woods. For one thing, they know everything that's in the woods. As far as you do something different, they know about it. I can tell you story after story after story of the years that I've been hunting that this has been the case, whether it be does or whether it be bucks. They don't miss a trick. So it's kind of nice to be one step ahead of them whenever you can be. That's what I love about the kind of deer hunting that I do. So when you're cutting these trails, keep that in mind. And then go back and check and see how many deer droppings you find in your trails. And see that the deer tracks that are in there. I even pile brush piles around my tree stands and stuff, so that it's very hard to see, number one. But I've seen deer use my brush piles around my tree stands, where their trails might have been 20 feet away. After 3, 4, 5 years, their trails are right under my tree stand, or right beside it, just because of my trail, but also the big brush pile that I put around my tree stands. So keep that in mind while you're putting in tree stands and while you're putting in trails. Again, that's just a little more on that 2 square miles. And the other thing I wanted to add to that 2 square miles is I hunt in an area that's roughly 30 square miles. I have 100 square miles that's open to hunting and fishing and all that. Your 2 square miles, you don't have to have just 2 square miles that you learn like the back of your hand. Depending on how much time that you have to put into the woods, you can have several of these 2 square miles. I have 2 right side by side. I have one that I hunt all the time, which is 2 square miles. Then about 4 miles in by 4-wheeler or snowmobile, I have been cleaning out this old county road. I've gone in on that old county road now maybe a couple of miles, and where I'm headed, it heads up into the swamp further, but this old county road kind of just walks the side of that swamp. So what I want, and I've already scouted it, I know where I'm going, but I'm mapping out 2 square miles that are 4 miles from my original 2 square miles. And the reason I'm doing that is this swamp area, like I said, been cleaning out this old county road, and where I'm headed up is to a peninsula. And on that peninsula, you can see a long ways in both directions. I wouldn't be surprised if you can see close to 3/4 of a mile in both directions, to your right and to your left. And my hope is that I would have a nice spot for moose hunting if I ever get drawn for the moose permit that we have here in the state of Maine. But my other thought is I've got some old staging, 2x12s on top of 2x4s. They're 16 feet long. I have 2 of these, which makes 32 feet. So my plan is to go up into that swamp. It's kind of muddy from the shoreline out to where the water is deep enough to support a canoe or a kayak. But I have 3 kayaks that I've had given to me. They're 14 footers. Fellow that I knew moved out, I don't know, he moved to Pennsylvania or something like that. But anyways, before he left, he said, I got 3 fiberglass kayaks, and he says, I want you to have them. So I have spruced those up. I will show a video on those. I've painted them hunter green and all that. But anyways, I'm moving 2 of those up to that swamp. And I want to canoe up that swamp a mile. I want to take in at least 2 square miles around this boat landing that I want to put in. I know there's a stream that comes in from the left, and I know that there's the main stream that comes down through this chopping. So by getting a dock in there, getting some kind of a boat landing in there that I get to by 4-wheeler would be a huge asset to my hunting grounds. And I'm going to take on this other 2 square miles that I intend on scouting and learning. The reason that I do that, and I have 5 of these, but I've been hunting for close to 50 years, 49 years. I have 5 of these 2 square miles that I have learned back to back, inside and out. They're in different counties, they're in different towns, they're spread out. I have 3 of them in this 100 square mile area that we're talking about. And the reason that you do that up here is, number one, depending on weather or depending on wind, it might be better hunting over there because of the wind. But if there's something going on in the woods, I've had a couple of years where CMP came in and they decided they were going to change all the poles in that area of the main power lines that comes from Canada down through the heart of Maine. So there was a lot of trucks, a lot of traffic around one of my 2 square miles, and it just wasn't, it was noisy, it was just terrible. So I wasn't able to hunt in that area like I normally would have. But because I've done my homework and because I spend so much time in the woods, I was able to have another section that was ready to go. I had some tree stands in there. I had some ground blinds already in. And I knew the area because, you know, you rabbit hunt, you do all kinds of stuff up there. So it gives you the real opportunity to scout out these new areas. So, but just keep that in mind. You don't have to have just 1, 2 square miles. Over your lifetime, if you're a young hunter getting into it, make yourself 2 or 3. Make it, and literally put the time into the woods so that these become good spots, fruitful spots, and take it from there. I'm in where I play with some reloading. That's the stuff that you see behind me. I have reloaded my rifles for 30 years. I have been a reloader for every gun that I own. I make my own bullets for. It's just a huge satisfaction to knock down a deer, a bear, or a caribou, or a moose with your own reloads. It just adds to the sport for me. So that's enough on that 2 square miles. I might add to it. It is a big topic. There's a lot to it as far as just getting in there, but that's how you take on the state of Maine. The state of Maine is bigger than all of New England states put together. So this is a huge state. Figuring out how to hunt in it is a trick and a technique, but it is doable if you just take a small piece of pie out of the whole state and not the whole pie. So, but anyway, enough on that. So you have a great night. Tag along. You might pick something up. You'll either like me or you won't. But tag along. I've got more of these videos coming out, and I will see you on the next one. A gun without a bullet is nothing more than a paperweight. So I will see you in the next one. Throw me a bone, would you? Reach over and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Give me a thumbs up if you like today's video, and I will see you in the next one.